I want to talk about Sana Kernadal and her last social media activities today. We are aware that Sana was on TikTok just minutes before killer entered the residence on King Road and slayed 4 of 6 students in the house. Sana was in the second floor bedroom with her boyfriend, Ethan Chapin, and both were slain. Sana was beautiful and outgoing, and a lot of her personality could be seen on TikTok videos. She can also be seen in other people's TikTok videos, and always appeared to be having such a great time. This right here is possibly one of the last videos Sana watched on TikTok. If we go to the comment section, we see that she even took the time to comment, saying Queen. The date is the 13th November 2022. How terribly sad to think about.
What's this?
It's an art project.
Okay, I like it. Picasso.
For this, but my vape was found, so we gotta go get it. I don't know where the fuck my car keys are. I won't drive like I could. I won't. Let's go. No, let's fucking go. Who can you
no
drive?
one can drive.
Oh shit. I'll do it. No. Don't pee. Don't fucking pee. Wow, that's aggressive. Okay.
I'm gonna piss my pants.
No.
Guys, like, I'm like clear. I'm like.
Hey everybody, tonight I want to talk.
Okay, so I'm just going to bring this overlay back up and I'll get back to you folks in the chat for a minute. Today I just wanted to talk about Xana because I have reported a few things that were I was mistaken about in the past regarding Xana's TikTok activity. And what I'm showing you right now is the last TikTok that Xana Kernodal ever made. And this was the TikTok activity that was referenced in the PCA. And she wrote, "Never forget the foundation in the bathtub." So there was also another post earlier that evening where she wrote "Queen" that you saw at the beginning of that video I just played. So I just wanted to discuss this for a second. So in the past, we've said possibly TikTok itself could have produced the activity at that time. Maybe it wasn't Xana. I've also heard that if somebody was, evil enough to do what they did, they'd be evil enough to pick up the phone and pretend they're Xana as well. But this TikTok this comment sort of, for me personally, shakes away kind of the doubt on that, because she's saying, never forget the foundation in the bathtub. And that apparently was a childhood joke with this TikTok creator. She had broke one of the mother's foundations in the bathtub when they were in 8th grade. And it was funny or something along those lines. So I just thought I had an obligation to show this information that I had cleared up to me about a week ago. I thought it'd be worth sharing it with you so that you had the information too, and you can do with it, what you need to do. So I actually have a pretty intense live stream plans for us today, but what I'm planning on doing is we're going to go over the Papa Rogers posts, and I'm going to play you a quick TikTok, and then we're going to go over the Papa Rogers posts. We're going to go over all of them. And I also want to address some of the comments from my last video. So I'm not sure which I should do first, but since the Papa Rogers thing is going to take a little time, I figured we'd do that second. Hold on. I've got a few comments here. Xana seemed like so much fun. I adore this little girl. She is so like the light of the world. She was a sweetheart. And this is Robert from, well, certainly in a little bit I do, Robert. But right now, I feel like I really need to focus because I've thrown a loop through some of my subscribers and I need to answer questions to them this morning. So I definitely want to have you up here, Robert. But if you could give me like just 5 or 10 minutes. Robert has a channel, True Crime Cult. His channel is excellent. He has excellent investigative help, really great pictures. He has a Discord. So please go check out True Crime Cult. They are doing so much good work. Yeah, me too. All right. So I think the first thing I want to do before we get into the Papa Rogers, and Robert, I do want to have you up here. So I'm going to send you a link. But like I said, Robert, it's not going to be for about 5 or 10 minutes because I just have to clear up a couple things. Here we go. There you go. There's a link to the StreamYard, Robert. I'm going to bring up my latest video, you guys, and we're going to look at the comments. Oops, that's not it. Oh, that's us right now. It's this one right here. If you want to reference it, it's called The Writing on the Wall, Bryan Kohberger. And there was a particular comment I really wanted to address down here. And it's right here, the first one. I'm going to read it to you. It says, Maddie's black jacket was found by the fire hydrant across from the band field that Ellie found and tossed aside is an indication that some type of outside altercation took place after the girls arrived home from the grub truck. Were the girls outside looking for the dog Murphy when they were surrounded, overwhelmed, and taken to the Linda Lane apartments where more nefarious activities were pursued? Why would Maddie's black jacket be found outside on a cold night? Why was the lead dude from the Linda Lane 4 at 12:28 a.m. on 11/13 walking into Linda Lane apartments carrying a long knife by his side as captured by the camera? Much too early for opening Christmas presents, but in time for activities about to happen. Kaylee and Maddie were kidnapped and taken to the Linda Lane apartments, and the FBI should be investigating the entire case. And then I had wrote back to him. I'm just going to read these other comments. The house is well known for noise, and LE going into the house for noise complaints. Sometimes constant noise from a location is ignored. Kaylee and Maddie were probably surrounded and gagged. And then someone said, Maddie and Kaylee both called Jack before being murdered after they got home. Kaylee's sister saw the video of them both getting home. Santa got the DoorDash and the ticket. That's irrelevant. I'm trying to get to this guy's point. I have carefully listened to those theories, and I have been part of those emails. I will never dismiss any theories going around because they are all relevant. However, I think there would be more DNA evidence on the outside of the house because they claim Kaylee was the only one killed in the house, if I'm not mistaken. And I'd like to know your thoughts. Thanks. And he wrote, in analyzing this case, what we have been told by LE is not correct. The timeline BK 4:08 a.m. arrived 4:20 a.m. departed is an impossible for a quadruple murder timeline. The picture of the speeding car past the gas station at 3:45 a.m. has been altered. Bodies in the house were moved. Fake food orders were made to confuse the timeline, and fake deliveries made. Who makes a food delivery order at 4 a.m.? So the reality surrounding these murders is much more different from what we are being told. Maddie's black jacket was found outside is an indication of outside altercation and kidnapping. Ellie outside the band field wearing coveralls and latex gloves at 3 a.m. is incredibly sus. The Linda Lane 4 walking into the Linda Lane apartments at 12:28 a.m. with the lead dude hiding his face while carrying a long knife by his side is incredibly sus, as is the 3:30 a.m. trip to the dumpster. When the kidnappings are investigated and this becomes a federal case, people will all start taking the facts. Okay. So I want to talk about this. Let me just change this overlay. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is this motive for what this gentleman is talking about in my comments. So I actually don't want an overlay. I really want my face, I want to address you. So I'm bringing out my face here. Let's just take this back a notch. We know where the source is for these accusations. And so we'll take this one at a time. So as far as Maddie's jacket out front of the house, I don't know if it was entered into evidence. I did see the picture of the police picking that jacket off the fire hydrant and throwing it down on the ground. I don't know what happened after that. I don't know if they left it there for the elements to take it or if they came back to it afterwards. I saw that too, but I can't say that that jacket wasn't entered into evidence. We know a glove that was found in the wooded area was entered into evidence, so I can't imagine the jacket wasn't as well. The problem I have with the Linda Lane kidnapping theory is two parts. Number one, that theory implicates that 3 of the roommates were unalived outside of the 1122 King Road home. So if that's the case, we already have a problem with lack of DNA. So, which has always kind of been a mystery to all of us. How would 3 of the people be unalived outside the house and then brought back into the house without more DNA? So that has always kind of been a problem for me to believe that the kidnapping theory is true. The second theory that I really want to go on the record say I'm beginning to almost dismiss completely is the one that Harsh Reality brought up, where he read some private email chains that all of us have been involved with. Hold on, let me take this comment down. We've all had some of these emails come through. Robert, I hate to say, Robert's here with me. Hey, Robert, I just wanted to bring you through because I hate seeing you backstage just hanging out. How's it going?
It's going okay. I was attacked by an email that fried my laptop.
Good God. I'm so sorry to hear that. Bubbly Waters posted about this earlier today. I'm so sorry that happened to you.
Yeah, I'm lucky that my laptop was still under warranty, so I was able to get me a new laptop from the pawn shop where I bought my last one from. Yeah, the virus fried my motherboard and the surrounding circuitry.
Do you know which email it was that did it?
It was a mate. I had Don't Dive on my panel last Thursday, and she mentioned in the live stream that she was going to be sending me an email, and somebody was watching that live stream and recreated her email and sent the virus that way.
That's terrible. I'm so sorry to hear that, and but I'm glad that you were able to fix it and get back online quickly, because I know it's probably part of your livelihood here. And
because of that virus, I lost a lot of work that I had not yet released.
Gosh, well, we're here to support you. Hopefully. Oh, Robert, by the way, just so you know, if you want, there should be a little button in your upper right hand corner, and you can you should be able to, let me go to guess. Yeah, you can stream this to your channel if you want, but I don't know if you want to, because they might think you're a guilter if you stream my stuff. So, but
no, I actually have a big live coming up on Monday.
You do,
and we're going over. Yeah, we're going over the Stephen Christie G 1 year anniversary interview.
Okay, that sounds fascinating. Because that interview, there are definitely things in that interview I'd like to go back over too. So that's a good one. I'm glad you're redoing that interview. I wanted
Yeah,
to. Oh, I'm sorry.
yeah, I found some. Yeah, we did part one this past Thursday, and well, we found a lot of like interesting stuff where Steve G and Christy slips up and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like
Okay. Well,
Christy made the comment that she's not going to be happy until Brian's dead.
yeah, I've documented that on my channel before. Yeah. I mean, it's hard. I mean, my feeling is, if you go on TV, if you know you're going to be representing people, you should, make sure that you know what you should and shouldn't say. But I try to have some grace for somebody who's been through, so much,
Yeah.
the anger. Not all of us have that instant forgiveness, the anger
Yeah.
is probably overwhelming to a degree that I could never imagine.
Yeah, I know she's made the comment that she'll forgive Brian once he's off the planet.
It's so sad, hard to hear.
Yeah.
If you don't mind, Robert, I do want to get out one more thought that we were talking about with those comments. So for those listening, there was one more thing I wanted to address in those comments. So when we get back to those emails, the ones that Harsh Reality posted about, you have to understand one of the reasons why I started looking at different angles of evidence is because of that email. Because one thing I heard in that just to me could never ring true. And it's when they started talking about the money. So they tried to say the motive behind this was money. And they started saying, okay, it's $70,000 worth of drugs that were flushed down the toilet. And they go, wait a second, more like 700,000. Okay, that was what the email said that was sent to me, was sent to Harsh Reality, was sent to all of us creators. Robert, I'm sure you've got them too. My problem with it is, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is my problem with that statement. That's when I started thinking this is just something somebody is making up to, or I don't know where they got it, but that number can't be right. And I'll tell you why. Nobody, it's either a drug house or a safe house, but there's no drug house that has $70,000 in it or 700. I don't think there's a lot of drug houses that have even $10,000 in them. You don't keep money in a drug house. You keep it in a safe house. And the 1122 King Road was not a safe house. It had noise complaints. I mean, in that comment, we read about the noise complaints. It had a sliding glass door without a security bar that could easily have been broken into. They had little punch keys on their doors, but there wasn't any security. There wasn't cameras. There was an alarm system. It's hard to think that somebody who could have the ability to make $70,000 or $700,000 would put it in a drug house or a party house. And so for me, that's when I started saying, wait a second, this doesn't make sense. These kids, if they were a safe house holding that money or Xana was, it's just nobody who secured that type of funds is going to give it to a child that's not a safe house. I mean, so I think the people who, I'd love to hear from some of the minds, the people who like to dive into the criminal minds, like A.R. Haynes or Rolo Moto. If any of you have some insight on that, that would be nice, because I, again, don't see how a drug house would get its hands on that kind of money. And that kind of blows the motive for that out of the water. Robert, your thoughts?
Well, I've always heard that Emma Bailey was dealing drugs out of the house, and like in that one police video, you can see Emma Bailey walking out of the 1122 King Road house. And when the cops stopped her, she acted like that she didn't live there when she doesn't live there. But after Kaylee moved out, Emma's best friend Ashlyn Couch was going to move in. She was going to be the sixth roommate after Kaylee moved out. And Emma does have a very big drug history. I mean, just look what happened with her and her boyfriend when that one kid overdosed, and then the charges were just like automatically dropped on them.
Yeah.
You don't drop murder charges the next day, unless they were cooperating with the police on a drug bust.
Or unless you're one of the Kansas City Chiefs fans. I'm being sarcastic. You know what I mean?
I
Like
know.
Jordan, you know what I mean? But you're right. That does. And you know, I think in some way, like it could be exposing an element to this. Like we know what happens if you get charged with something and then the charges are dropped the next day. You know, it could mean that you've given up some information. I don't know. I don't know if it would have been a murder charge versus a homicide charge. But I don't know. Those are good points, Robert. There's a difference between drug dealing and drug trafficking, though. And $700,000, that's not drug dealing, that's drug trafficking, in my opinion. And I just, that a volume of money, I cannot see being in a drug house. I don't know, though. I don't know, but that's what kind of
70,000, 70,000 maybe, but not 700,000.
Yeah. It's hard to say, especially with knowing that that if you're talking about Emma Bailey, she states in that police video, she's got a safe, right? I mean, she's right next to the King Road home. There's a safe in a bigger, more secure house, literally walking distance. So why would, if that were the connection, why wasn't the 700,000 in the safe? You know, I don't know. But I do want to know other people's thoughts on it too. Robert, have you ever taken a dive into the Papa Rogers comments?
Not yet, but I've been wanting to dig into the Papa Rogers. There's a lot of people out there that say he's Bryan Kohberger. I don't believe it's Bryan Kohberger because after Kohberger was arrested, the Papa Rogers character became active again.
Interesting. Do you know how active? I guess I wasn't aware of that. Do you know how long after the crime he became active, or how active he was after the crime?
About 4 months after the crime.
That's really interesting.
Because there was a post made here about 4 months ago, 4 or 5 months ago, and someone said, "Are you are you Bryan Kohberger? Are you the killer?" And the comment was, "No, I'm not Bryan Kohberger. No, I'm not a killer." Just basically going off on the commenter.
Okay, I'm actually Googling it because I want to see the last date of his post. It says his last one was December 30th, 2022. So that would be after the arrest of BK, right? So
Yeah.
Let's see. BK's arrest date. I think it was the 23rd. Hold on. Bryan Kohberger arrest date. The 30th. Let me show you what I'm looking at so you guys don't think I'm like making this up myself. Okay, present screen. So present, we're going to do this together. Papa Rogers, last post. So I did Papa Rogers last post date, December 30th, 2022. Okay. And now let's look at Bryan Kohberger's arrest date. Bryan Kohberger's arrest date, December 30th, 2022. What do you think?
That's kind of weird because Papa Rogers came back online like right after Bryan's arrest, unless it, they came back online long enough to make a comment and then delete the account after Bryan's arrest. That was 3 months after Bryan's arrest that Papa Rogers account got deleted.
That's interesting. And I mean, we heard a direct quote from Moscow PD via Olivia, Kaylee's sister. She said that it is illegal for them to delete a social media account. But what's really interesting, you've seen, I'm not sure, but have you seen the Chronicles Olivia post where Kaylee's LinkedIn became live after the murders, like 12 hours after the 911 call, and then it was deleted?
Yeah, from what I heard is that her parents deleted the LinkedIn account.
Well, her father was sitting next to Olivia when she was showing the screenshots. And so that was the very first interview. He was right next to her and they were showing the evidence. They go, look, I took screenshots. I was driving. It went live. Where we heard the father deleted it was in those emails. They said they had a family laptop. Oh, it was also on True Crime Design. They said they had a family laptop that had a family password, and Steve G went in and he changed it. But that's not what Steve G said. The only person who said that was another creator, as far as I know. So the family, their official statement is that somebody was in there. So it was either LE or she was hacked. And if it was LE and it wasn't Moscow PD, could it have been the FBI? And if it was the FBI, then I guess the FBI could be in Papa Rogers' account as well. You know, so I think if we're talking post-mortem and post-arrest, where law enforcement would be involved, maybe that could be it. I don't know.
Nevada cops just said, didn't they only post once after Bryan, after he was arrested?
Yeah, that's what we were just showing. Let me pull that back up because we just did a random Bing search on it real quick. Let me pull it back up right here. That's what Bing says after Kohberger's arrest. Let me pull up the screen. After Kohberger's arrest in connection with the crime on December 30th, Rogers' account stopped posting. So, you know, and I also don't want to get you obligated into anything, Robert, that might be too time consuming. But right now I was going to pull up the Papa Rogers posts and go over all of them. What do you think? Okay. Listen, if you need to dip out, just let me know. You're welcome. But I'm glad to have you here. Boy, the G family tells a lot of lies. Hate me all you want, but it will come out during the future lawsuits. We will see. And like, I don't dismiss anything. I'm not trying to be a know-it-all, but I also need to start focusing on other things that I hadn't focused on before. And Papa Rogers is one of them. So let's go. Okay, so we're going to pause here. These are a little blurry, but it starts from the very beginning. So the first Papa Rogers post was on November 30th, and it says, of the evidence released, the murder weapon has been consistent as a large fixed blade knife. This leads me to believe that they have found the sheath. This evidence was released prior to the autopsies. And then the next one was on December 1st, and it says, I believe the killer/killers came from the high side of the house. They were covered in blood after the attack. And we know that Linda Lane was involved, and he came from the high side of the house, the killer, as far as we know from the PCI. Next, he posted a picture of them on the high side of the house, and this was on December 1st, and Papa Rogers wrote, I believe the killers came. Oops, that's the wrong one. Sorry. This is the high side of the house. They found the evidence here. It is likely blood dripping from the killers. Either they, I think it says, fled through this area, or they were parked there. This being the most strategic entrance point to the house, and it shows planning. Robert, I want to back up a second and let you know something. My sources tell me, so you know what page I'm on with these Papa Rogers posts. My sources are telling me that the connection to BK that Ann Taylor can't find, that's disguised in all of these 54 terabytes of information, is that BK was at Maddie's 21st birthday party at the Coug, which is short for the Cougar. The Coug, which is 3 minutes drive from Bryan's house. That's where he met them, and there was a 12-week escalation period after that. And the actual way that was found was not through Moscow or Pullman police. It was because he was posting as Papa Rogers, and the FBI found him. That's why I say it's plausible that the FBI came in and shut down this account afterwards. So I'm putting some time into Papa Rogers because that is the theory that I'm working off of right now on my channel. So anyway, just so you know. Any thoughts on that? All right.
Well, there was a picture of Bryan spotted at the vigil for the students.
I've seen that. I've gone over it a bunch of times. What do you think it's him?
I mean, it sure looks like him.
It does. And there's somebody else with him that they were saying looks like a person he works with or something along those lines. So I'm actually writing myself a note, and we'll if we have time, we're going to go back and take a look at that, because that would be the type of behavior you'd be thinking. But anyway, all right. So again, that was a December 1st post, and these are in chronological order. Next, Papa Rogers writes, did the killers drive or walk to and from the scene? Thoughts? And now he has an entire diagram made up of, Papa Rogers does, of the house, the blood dripping out of Xana's room, and a circle around Xana's window. And it writes, based on the evidence, this is where I believe Xana was found. And so many people have echoed the same thing. Have you heard that too, Robert, that Xana must have been in the corner of the room for that blood to appear?
Well, see, from what I've learned is that Xana was on the bed, and the blood that was dripping down the wall was Ethan's.
Oh, you know what? I heard you say that before. That's right. I'm making a note to myself so I don't make that mistake again. So Xana on the bed. And I got to get some documentation for that too. I have heard that before. Do you remember where you heard that?
It was in either a Chaos Sector video or a True Crime Design video.
Okay. 2 channels I love a lot. All right. Next we got Papa. Well, that's just a link that's no longer available. And if you guys just want to take a look at Papa Rogers, people really claim this is a likeness of Bryan. I didn't quite see it at first because it's a different nose. But if you look at the jawline and the lips, I do see how it could have been an AI version of Bryan. But I could see how it couldn't be too. I don't know. And I keep saying Papa. It's Papa Rogers, right? Is it Papa?
No,
Robert?
it's Papa.
It's Papa? Okay.
It's Papa.
39 days, Papa Rogers writes, the killer is not in the victim's immediate circle. Next, on December 8th, why the killer chose a knife as a weapon of choice. I wish I could click on these so bad and read those 31 comments, because another thing, Robert, that I wanted to point out, which isn't in this video, is that it's the interactions of Papa Rogers with the other people in this Facebook community, because this is one of the largest IDAHO4 murder Facebook communities. There was I think 150,000 people in it. And the interactions are interesting because people keep saying, you sound a little bit creepy. And then he would come back, I'm paraphrasing, and then he would come back at them and say, well, you sound a little bit creepy. But it was the way he said things that just, something in our human nature tells us something's off. I don't know, but we can't click on them, so I guess it's irrelevant. All right. Did the killer stop at 4 victims out of exhaustion, convenience, or lack of knowledge? Okay, so here are some of the responses. Thank goodness. So why did the killer choose a knife as a weapon of choice? And then Julie writes, because gunshots are too loud. Jojo writes, not with a silencer. And then Jason writes, knife is up close and personal. Wanted to control, put fear in them. I've heard from people who are ex-military who said, if you're going to go in and do a job with 4 people, it's done with a knife, just for those very reasons. Have you heard anything along those lines, Robert?
Well, a lot of people say that Papa Rogers, Bryan being Papa Rogers, has been debunked. But
yeah, I just pulled up Big Mikey's statement. I don't know if you can give us some debunking on it. We will be open to it. But I've been podcasting this for almost 7 months. I haven't heard any of the debunking. I've heard people say that they think he's law enforcement, but I have not yet heard anyone say it's been debunked.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm not saying he is, but if he was Papa Rogers, then who is inside looking?
Oh my gosh, I want to dive into that so much. I don't know. I don't know. But I have other questions too. And I hate to go down a rabbit hole where we're in the middle of this, but when you talk about inside looking, there has been talk about that possibly being Brent K. And through this research, I found out that there is a possible connection, but it's pretty scrubbed off the internet between BF or BF's boyfriend and possibly Brent K. So I'm just saying, also BF was pulled over in Pullman around this time, and that's no longer on the internet either.
No, that was actually Bonnie. That was actually Emma that was pulled over in Pullman. She was pulled over for a DUI.
Is that the one where we see her when she says she doesn't have her cell phone and then the cop goes and gets the phone? Okay, that's the, yeah, I saw that. I saw that, and I don't know. I don't know if maybe BF also got pulled over, but it seems like they had a lot of activity there. I also heard Xana would visit her sister at Wasu, and they would go to all the local bars out there too. Oh, no disrespect taken at all, Mikey. We appreciate you sharing your opinion. PR profile stated female. Oh, so the Papa Rogers profile stated female says sweet and salty. And then Demon Dog says, I have heard Harsh Reality, Lana, and others say it was debunked. Again, I'm open. I'm very open. I don't know anything. I just want the information so I can present it to my audience. And then I heard Nevada Cop says, only heard people saying they didn't think it was him. I think inside looking is Papa Rogers are the same people, more than one involved, in my opinion. Well, I'm going to get into it. Rogers, Robert, I don't know. Have you done any research on inside looking besides what we've just talked about?
Yeah, I have a bunch of his posts. I should say I had a bunch of the posts saved on my old laptop. I gotta go back and re-download them from the site that I got them from. But the way it stated in the inside looking post that Maddie and Ethan were not the target. Not Maddie. Kaylee and Ethan were not the targets. Maddie and Xana were. Kaylee and Ethan were collateral damage.
Kaylee and Ethan were collateral damage?
Yeah.
And Xana and Maddie were the targets, you said. I just want to make sure I heard you correctly.
Yes, that's what it said in the inside looking post. Is Xana and Maddie were the targets. Ethan and Kaylee were collateral damage because Killer did not know Ethan was there and Kaylee was in the same bed as Maddie.
Well, actually, that's a really good explanation. I'll tell you one thing that trips me up, Robert, a lot when I think about Kaylee being the target is that emphatically the police wanted to meet with Maddie's parents before they went to Kaylee, and they were with them for a long time, and Kaylee's parents had to wait a really long time till they were done. And then when they did come, they didn't spend a long time with Kaylee's parents. It was basically the courtesy to let them know, their daughter had passed away. They were just there to let them know. Whereas Maddie's parents were pulled into the station and questioned for hours and hours. So when you're saying that, it is ringing true. And that's why I kind of left it open. I leave my theory open that Maddie also could have been the target, because both, in my theory, not, as fact, just in my theory, both Maddie and Kaylee were at Kaylee's 21st birthday party at the Coug. But yeah, I would love to know more about the inside looking. Definitely, I maybe I'll do something on my channel next time we do it. If you had it, I'd have you pull it up right now to show us. Okay, anyone can put their profile to whatever they want, male or female. That's a good point. And then Mike Angler says it was a crime of convenience. The targets were under one roof. Leslie at Billy. Wait, I don't know what that means. I love the doc. The doc. Okay, that must be where they found it. Let me see. Should have later makes. I was just looking if there were any more questions. Okay, let's get this Papa Rogers back up here. Hi, Jeff. Jeff, we just talked about Xana's last TikTok. Thank you for emailing me that photo. I used that. Oops. That's not it. Wait, hold on. The theory was Maddie and Xana's parents had LE dope issues.
Law enforcement.
Yeah. I agree. And I think Enon hit himself into this for a reason. And docs show us a lot. Whew, well, Enon Harsh, actually, I'm going to write a little note because Enon Harsh is another one I'd like to, he said something about the SUV I've wanted to do a little more of a deep dive on recently too. Okay, let's get this Papa Rogers back up here. Knives don't leave footprints like a bullet does. You can always trace a bullet back to the weapon. Knives, you can't even tell what type. And I have to apologize. My dogs are snoring in the background. People in that part of the country usually always carry knives or such for hunting. Also, was Perp old enough to buy a gun? And he was 20. Well, the alleged Perp was 28.
28.
28, yeah. Just like, why do people use their finger rather than toilet paper? Okay.
Yeah, that was weird.
That was a little weird. Yeah. All right. Let's get back to the Papa Rogers here. Okay. So the next Papa Rogers post was on December 8th, the same day as the last knife post. Did the killer stop at 4 Oh, that we already read that one. Okay. And then Papa Rogers writes later on the 8th, in your opinion, did the killer shower at the crime scene afterwards? And I've always wondered, do you think the police collected the drains in that house? I mean, it seems like they disregard a lot of the physical evidence with only like 150 pieces of evidence, so to speak. Like, would they really have even checked the drain traps and stuff? I don't know.
Well, if they wouldn't, if they didn't check Kaylee's trash, they wouldn't check the drain traps.
Exactly, Robert. Good point. that's that you hit the nail right on the head right there. I think you answered the question. Oh, we have a lot of new comments. I'm just looking for questions. Okay, here we go. Emma and Enon Harsh both lived out of town on or near the routes BK took during those 12 times. And
Actually, Enon Harsh, he lived in 500 Queen Road Apartments. He's been living in that apartment since 2012.
Yeah, I heard that too. And you showed a photograph of how close Emma Bailey's the stairs to her parents' house were to it.
Yep.
So, well, Bryan can skin a fish. No, that's not true. Wait a second, Big Mikey.
He's vegan. He don't like to touch flesh.
You know, Robert, that's another insight that, wow, that kind of blows my mind too, though, when I think about it. He's vegan. He won't even eat something that's touched flesh. But the thing is this thing about Bryan skinning a fish, I thought he worked at a place that skinned fish and he learned how to fillet there.
I haven't heard that one yet.
Oh, really? Okay, I'll have to get some evidence on that because I don't have anything at my fingertips. So Bryan working at fish market. Yeah, that's what I heard. He learned how to fillet fish. There. Yes, that's why HVAC was there.
I learned last night that Ethan worked on a tulip farm.
Oh, did you know that they actually they developed a special tulip? They call it Ethan Smile, and you can buy the bulbs from it. It's really beautiful. Oh, whoops. That's not relevant. Sorry, guys. He worked. Oh, here we go. Nicole wrote, he did work at a fish place, but or let go because he wasn't doing a good job at it. So actually, that might be what Mikey was referencing. He can't fillet a fish. Yeah. He got fired or let go because he couldn't do the job. Wait, hold on a second. Leslie said, I agree. I think Brent might have been involved too. BK left his place and was seen by Brent's place. Then I think they went into Enon for stuff. So I do want to bring up a couple things that like are on my mind with this comment. Number one, I did bring up, was Brent connected to this circle? It's possible. And I bring up BF when I say that. The other thing is, we know, and this isn't just pulling it out of the ether, Bryan had an addiction. Bryan was a recovered heroin addict. And if we do find a drug connection, yes, I mean, could Bryan have started using again and be looking for some of that? So it's possible. I'm open to anything. I just haven't seen any, additional evidence to support that. Correct, but Bryan wasn't good at fish. Okay, so that clears that up. Now we know the full story, and I will look into it so I can get it verified. He was fired from the fish place because he wasn't any good, says Britt. Okay, and then Jeff says, Emma Bailey's house, if you draw a straight line, is 250 yards from the murder house. So that clears, I think Jeff probably has Google Maps up. So that kind of it just validates what Robert was showing us the other day. Enon Harsh actually committed a crime like 10 years ago with 3 friends, and they worked together to beat up and rob a 4th friend of drugs. So, well, I'm going to take that down because I don't want to, if he's a criminal, I really don't want to implicate myself. But that is a profile of somebody we should look at. So it's on the list, and we will dig a little deeper. Thank you for that comment, DD. But again, you don't have to know how to skin a... Okay. Have I seen what BK's sister posted back at the beginning about BK and Brent? I did not, Nevada. Do you know what she's talking about, Robert?
No, I do not.
BK's sister, if anyone knows what... Could you post some more about that, Nevada, please?
I do know that both of his sisters got fired after he was arrested.
It blows my mind. Like, what do you do in life? How do you survive if nobody's gonna, if you've got a scarlet letter on your head and you can't work? Like, it's, I know, there's no way around it, but I just really feel for them. Hold on. Not good customers. Hold on. Why did BK's dad call Brent a criminologist from WASU at the Interesting. Ooh, sweet and salty, giving us the tea. I did not hear him say that, but I will go back and listen to that. What did you hear that before, Robert?
No, so I know that BK's dad was talking about the shooting there in Washington State, WSU, where Brent was killed in that SWAT shooting. I heard him mention that there was a shooting at WSU. I didn't hear about the criminology thing.
I didn't either, but I remember him talking, and I mean, we have that. I have that recording. We have access to it, so I'm going to go back and review that. Criminologist. I mean, that was the second stop, I believe, that he did the talking about what was going on. So I've
heard a lot of rumblings that both of those stops were controlled stops by the FBI, because they wanted the Indiana Highway Patrol to see if they couldn't get a look at Bryan's hands, to see if he had any cuts on his hands.
Do you think his hands looked swollen in that picture, in your personal opinion?
A little bit. I mean, not too bad, but I know they showed a close up, and on the close up, you could see what looked like dried blood on the side of his hand, on the side of his arm, but
Oh,
I
I
couldn't
didn't
really
see
tell.
that. I'm gonna go. I actually want to. I'm gonna in the back. Maybe I'll try pulling that video up. That'd be an interesting one to show. But I thought the same as you. They looked a little swollen. I couldn't see anything of note. It did. I mean, it looked like the knuckle wasn't showing, which can sometimes indicate someone who's been punching and maybe broke their or pushed their knuckle. But let's see. Pull over video. Okay, I've got it, you guys. Let's watch this.
Leslie said it looks like a cut or it's a shadow.
Let me find Leslie. It looks like a cut or a shadow. All right, let's take a look.
Hi, Casey.
Hey, Casey. Okay, this is the best one, I think. Pause it. Here we go.
Hello. How you doing? How y'all doing today? Good, good. Take a look at your driver's license real quick if I could. See, he's right up on that van, man. He was right up on the back end of that van. Pulled you over for tailgating. Is this your car? Okay, cool. Where are you headed?
Well, we're coming from WSU, and we're
What's WSU?
university, basically. That is Washington University.
So we're okay. I'm having a hard time hearing you because of the traffic. So you're coming from Washington State University, and you're going where? Oh.
We're going to be going to Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We're slightly punched because we're driving for hours.
Hours, days.
Hours to drive. Well, almost a day.
Okay. And what did you say about some SWAT team?
Wait, I'm going to stop for 1 second. I just want to address this one comment right here. I don't think he has any, it's not that I think he has anything to do with it or he knows about it. There's two things we're looking at here. People were bringing up the hands and we wanted to see if and Robert brought up there's a possible stain. We just wanted to look at those two things. Not that we could tell maybe 6 weeks afterwards, but that could be possibly why they're pulling him over. The other thing is Brent, what was the reason this was all brought up is we were saying that one of Bryan's sisters said something about Bryan and Brent early on, and then it has been scrubbed. And so we were asking where we could get that or reference it. And somebody in the live chat said, well, in this stop, it was interesting because Bryan's father refers to Brent as a criminology major. So that's what we're looking to see if we can hear. We also wanted to see if we could see the hands. It's not, that we're implicating anyone. But hold on, let's keep going.
Yeah, there was a mass shooting and everything.
Where?
I think he just said criminology major right there. Did you hear it, Robert?
I mean, you can hardly hear it over the sound of the traffic.
It's terrible. I know. But I just wanted to see if somebody else could hear it. I didn't know if we could. Let's just see if we could hear it again. I'll play the whole thing.
Oh, it's horrifying because he's going to the university. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So y'all work at the university there?
I actually do work there.
Oh.
PhD in criminal.
Okay.
I think he was talking about Bryan.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hadn't heard about that incident. Just yesterday, or?
No, this happened about an hour and a half ago. We're still wrapping it up for investigating. I'm not sure there's two shooters, but they did shoot somebody.
Let's see.
And then we don't know about that actually.
Interesting. Wow. Okay. So do me a favor, don't follow too close, okay?
Robert,
All right.
you're right.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
100% right. Okay. When I heard back when I said, oh, I just heard it, criminology major, you're right. He was talking about Bryan. It was muted. And when they were just talking about Brent, I didn't hear him say it. So, but we're going to have to dive into that to see if we can figure out what his sister said. I'm just looking if there were any more comments here. Yeah, that's what we were wondering. Was he talking about Brent or his son? That's what Robert just said. And then Leslie writes about his son. So anyway, let me pull Papa Rogers back up here. Okay. So we left off on this last statement that was, we're still on December 8th with Papa Rogers. He wrote, in your opinion, did the killer shower at the crime scene or afterwards? And they're referencing the lack of DNA outside, I think. And these are some of the responses. I think he decided to be done when he unexpectedly had Ethan as a challenge. Then Stephanie wrote, I think the lack of knowledge or fear of getting caught because he had been there long enough. And then Mike wrote, obviously, I don't know for sure, but it could be as simple as the girls on the bottom floor had locked their doors and the killer didn't want to be caught by waking. Well, I can't get through this. All right, I'm going to just focus on the Papa Rogers so we can get through this. I'm not going to read the rebuttals.
Leslie and Billy said, but if you look at BK's hand, when it's down on his leg, you can see his hand and his wrist.
Let me bring it back up. Okay, so say it again. Can you read that comment to me while I'm on this screen, Robert, please?
But if you look at BK's hand, when it's down on his leg, you can see his wrist, with his hand and his wrist.
Let me see. Down on his leg. Is that the beginning? Okay, hold on. I'm just going to let it play while I'm. Right there. Where it is, right here. I'll turn the volume off so I can hear you.
Yes, near leg, console wrist with long scab, in my own opinion.
Okay. All right, let's go. I've got the screen up. I think I found the part. Okay, let's go back. Hold on. If you see something and you want me to stop, let me know, Robert. I can't see BK's hand though, so I think it's a different frame we might be looking for.
I know when his father mentioned where they were going, BK gave his dad a look like, what the fuck did you just say?
I've seen that look too. Go back.
Oh, how you doing? How y'all doing today? Good, good. Take a look at your driver's license real quick if I could. See, he's right up on that van, man. He was right up on the back end of that van. Pulled you over for tailgating. Is this your car?
Looking at the hand, that's all.
Car. Okay. Cool. Where are you headed?
Well,
I thought I saw a cut on his hand, but I was,
What was that?
or I said I thought I saw what looked like a cut, like it was almost healed on his hand.
And it would be at that stage at this time. Let's just do it again.
well, we're coming from WSU, and we're scanning early.
What's WSU? Cool.
How you doing?
How y'all doing today? Good, good. Take a look at your driver's license real quick if I could. See, he's right up on that van, man. He was right up on the back end of that van. Pulled you over for tailgating. Is this your car?
Can't really tell because the officer's arm's in the way.
I know.
Is this your car?
It ruins everything in this video. Oh, I learned if I hit the period button, it goes frame by frame. I forgot about that. Oh, okay. Right there, I see you. I think this is what we're talking about. This line right here, because that does look like a scar to me, but it looks like an older than 6 week scar. And then there was one other thing when he hands it back. Let's look at that. Hold on.
Interesting. Wow. Okay. So do me a favor, don't follow.
It's not much to see. I mean, it's, oh, well, it's worth taking a look at, but it's just, I'm just looking to see if I can zoom in on this. Yeah. Okay. This is his dominant hand, the right hand, the one that's not holding the license. That is one thing I will point out that is a little interesting. Why would you reach for it with your left hand and keep your dominant hand limp like that, sitting there?
Yeah.
Let me go back.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Sherry says that's weird. Leslie said Swamp Rose, I believe it's in the second stop.
Okay, let's get that up then.
So what was weird was, this is the first stop, and then he was stopped again 2.5 miles later.
It is really weird. Hold on. I wonder. Okay, so I'm looking at the first stop. I thought I was looking at the second stop. Okay. Hold on. I don't know if it's online. Oh, I think I found it. Let me just pull this up and see if it's different. Yeah, okay, I got a different video. Here we go. Okay.
It almost looks like he's following him.
I wouldn't doubt it. Like, what are the chances you're going to pull over a sedan with one the middle-aged guy? You know, it just doesn't seem like, I don't know, unless he was just having a bad day and recklessly driving. I find it odd too. And this one doesn't have sound.
Hello.
How you doing?
How y'all?
Is this the same one?
I don't know.
doing? Good, good. Take your driver's license real quick, if I could. See, he's right up on the van, man.
Yeah, it's the same one.
I mean, I'm familiar with this stop. This is the one back in Pullman. I can't find it, y'all. First traffic stop. I don't see it. Let's go to YouTube and see. Maybe it's in YouTube. Okay. I am used to Apple, and I just got this PC, and so I don't maneuver as well with it. Bear with me. Okay, pull up YouTube. All right. So we'll do Bryan Kohberger, second stop. These all look like the same one. I wonder if this has been taken off the internet, you guys. So I'm going to bring it to the live chat. You guys, if you can find that, let us know. But for me, it appears there is no second traffic stop on the internet or YouTube. I'll write it down and we'll look into it. But, you know. I don't know rage and jealousy. I do know that there's some sort of rage. I'm not convinced that sexuality necessarily had something to do with it. I do believe that rage had a lot to do with it, though.
See, what I would like to know is if there was so much blood in the house, how come the only shoe print they found was the one by Dylan's door?
Yeah, we've talked about that too. That is baffling. Do you think so? That shoe print was a latent print. So I heard Cluminati say that meant that it was an imprint into the carpet, possibly. For me, I thought it could possibly mean such a small amount of DNA that it only could be picked up by luminol. That's what I thought maybe latent means. I don't necessarily know, but I wonder.
See, here's the thing, though. There was no carpets in that house. It was all the hardwood floors.
Okay, so that actually clears that up. So it had to have been latent means that it's after the fact.
Yeah, it was barely visible.
I wonder if it was only shown with luminol. Does that sound like it could what they meant by latent, that they didn't see it until they sprayed the place with luminol?
Yeah, well, they sprayed it with luminol and amino black.
I don't know. Do you think, in your opinion, if they said that was the only shoe print they recovered, could the wording mean that that's just the only like shoe print that actually was wasn't smudged? Like maybe the person, there was lots of DNA evidence and there was lots of footprints, but they were all like partial or smudged, and that was the only one that actually came up. Or does it doesn't mean there was no other evidence, and that was the only evidence there.
Yes, see, that's the whole weird part, though. If there was so much blood in the house, smudged or half smudged, or there would still be signs of bloody footprints walking around the house, and there would be a good chance that one of the bloody footprints wouldn't be so smudged. But to find one shoe print by Dylan's door that was barely visible just makes you wonder.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. I wonder. I'm perplexed by the small amount of evidence collected. Even I have Gia on here, and by the way, for those of you who like it when Gia is here, she will be here back soon. It's been a busy and hectic week. We haven't gotten together, but Gia's she's a paralegal. Not that means she has any insight into criminal justice, but she's read a lot of these cases, and she's never heard of one that has such a small amount of evidence collected from the inside of the crime scene with 4 bodies.
Now you heard about what Chief Fry's doing, right?
Well, why don't you tell the audience, because I haven't debriefed everyone, but I do know. Please let the folks know at home.
Okay, he is retiring as the chief of police in Moscow, and he's running for Latah County sheriff.
Oh, he's running for sheriff.
And if he gets elected, Bryan's pretty much well dead. Because if he gets elected sheriff, yeah, you know that they're going to Bryan's not going to get a fair trial. Bryan's goose is going to be cooked.
I hate hearing it like that. It makes me sad to even hear that. I would hope that everyone watching this can think for themselves and needs the evidence beyond a reasonable doubt in order to convict. And that's all I have to say, because as much as I have my feelings in this case, I will fight ferociously for anyone that I think is innocent. And it's just hard to hear. It's sad to hear that people even feel that way, but yeah.
Yeah,
It's part of
it. Here's what the weird part is. Bill Thompson, is absolutely adamant that he does not want the trial moved out of Latah. What Bill Thompson wants to do is he wants the jury pool to be farmers that have over 1,000 acres, and he wants to slap on the Oculus glasses, for the farmers to see the 3D renderings of the house. Yeah, if anyone out in the audience knows, farmers like hands-on things. They like to work with their hands. They like to see visuals of an actual house. They like to hear the creaks and feel the drafts. They're not gonna know what to do. Yeah, they're not gonna like the fact that the prosecution has the house torn down, because they're going to actually go and see the house physically. And Steve G covered it in an interview. Yeah, he said the farmers aren't going to want to look at a 3D rendering. They're going to want to go look at the actual house. And he was a little upset with Bill Thompson that all he wants on the jury is farmers that know nothing about the case. I mean, the entire world knows about this case, and there are some farmers that are tech savvy, and they know what's going on in the world, and they know what's going on there in Idaho.
Yeah, it's a total stereotype. In fact, in order for farmers to move forward with our resources, they are becoming some of the most tech savvy amongst us, because it's vital for their profession, for water conservation, for fertilizer conservation, for making sure their crops grow timely. They have to use so much science nowadays to grow crops. So it is a stereotype. But wouldn't everybody love to have a jury filled with people who are out in the field and not looking at social media all day and being, having their opinions compromised? It's not going to happen. It's how are you going to do that? You just can't. And I find it odd that if somebody would fight so hard, I see the reason why the defense would want to move the case to a different venue. It makes sense. This town is breathing for justice,
Right.
I had Casey wrote that, I scrolled past it. It was the video of the one with the black sleeve. So I think it's this one right here.
Recording.
Hello. How you doing? How y'all doing today? Good. Take a look at your driver's license.
Yeah, that's the same one. And I don't know if you saw, but Casey also said, Robert, I agree.
Yep. I love Casey. She's one of my mods.
Oh, is she? Well, welcome to the live stream, Casey. Thanks for being here. Good old boys. Oh gosh. And then Mike wrote he was being tracked and followed. Yeah.
Honestly, but I honestly believe that both those stops were controlled by the FBI because they got a hit on the tag reader in Colorado. So
I'm gonna agree with you guys 100%. I think I'm buying this 100% that he had to have been followed. Because if I'm working off my theory, he got reported to the FBI long before the 30th. And what kind of law enforcement person would let a quadruple unaliver go driving around the US unmonitored? It's a threat to if that were true, then they're putting a bunch of people in danger. So I would.
yeah, and there was a rumor that the only reason why his father's remaining silent and assisting in the investigation is they could get him for aiding and abetting. They could get his entire family for aiding and abetting because his dad flew in from Pennsylvania, like right after the murders, and then they drove clear across country. That's crossing so many different jurisdictions, going back to Pennsylvania, and his dad could like legit get in. His dad and his mom could legit get in trouble for harboring and aiding and abetting, a known suspect because his mom cooked him dinner when he got back.
You're so right. They cross state lines, so that's not only aiding and abetting a criminal, that makes it a federal if he crossed state lines. So I think you're onto something. I'm actually I think at this point I can assume that that's right. And then Mike Angler. So they said it was the CBS video had the best close up, but it was short. And they said to look for a black sleeve, 2 to 2.5 inch thin scab. So let's take a look here. So this is long CBS Evening News. It's a 28-second video. Let's see if it's this one.
Chilling, newly released video shows the suspect in the murders of 4 University of Idaho students talking his way out of a traffic ticket.
Oh, this isn't it.
This was last October, just weeks before the
Sorry,
killings.
guys.
The former grad student.
No, I watched that one though, and he was very polite through the entire thing.
I honestly thought the cop was trying to get his phone number.
That he was driving was later seen on surveillance video near the crime scene, and that helped lead to his arrest.
I made a joke last night. Cops need love too.
Yes, I think that cops need hugs too. Okay, and then Sherry wrote, "Who gets pulled over twice, and cops know he was pulled over with no ticket." So they knew he got pulled over, and they don't give him a ticket. That's a really good point. If somebody's habitually doing something and he gets pulled over not too long afterwards, he would receive a ticket for it.
Mike says he wasn't a known suspect. I think he was because according to Christy, when she talked to the detectives there at the Moscow PD, they both looked her dead in the eye, very serious, said it will be solved. And right around that time, his name was swirling with the within the police community.
I agree with you 100%, Robert. I think he had been a suspect for a while at this point. I have no doubt about that. Well, I do have. I shouldn't make absolutes the way I'm saying it right now, but I agree with you. Okay, so we just got a little message from someone saying it's not that one. So I'm just going down. I'm just going to put traffic stop CBS News and see what comes up. I don't want to, waste you guys' time.
Yeah, Sweet and Salty says November 29th, his car was identified at WSU.
November 29th. I'm going to go out on a limb, and I think it was before November 29th. I think it was before his car was identified. I think he was interjecting himself before then.
She said that one right there, you see his hand.
Okay. And is it the CBS one? Hold on. Yep, CBS Philadelphia. Or CBS Evening. No, we just watched that one. Okay, let's.
Indiana State Police released body camera video showing them pulling over Kohberger and his father on December 15th. The pair was driving from Washington to Pennsylvania, a trip they had pre-planned. Indiana State Police said Kohberger was behind the wheel when
Look at his hand right there.
I-70.
Oh, look at that. Let me just take down Mike's comment. I've never seen it so clear. Comments, guys? Comments on that in the live
outside
chat?
of Indianapolis for following too closely. Indiana's police say at
Pause
the
it right
time
there.
of the stop, there was no.
What was that?
I said pause it right there.
Yeah.
Look at the scar on the side of his arm.
Jesus. And it looks like a 6-week-old scar too. I can see red at the bottom, like there's still a cut healing.
Yeah. And his hands all mangled too.
Yeah, look at that. No knuckles there. So broken knuckles there, swollen knuckles there. He's got the little club hand. It looks just like someone who's been in a punching fight. You can see a black and blue almost. I mean, I'm speculating, you guys. I shouldn't. Yeah. I'm speculation. Just want to fully let everyone know I'm not just saying my opinion. I'm putting a banner up now so you guys know. I don't know. I'm going to show you guys the thread. I would love for you guys to go back. So this is CBS Philadelphia. Justin, Indiana State cop pulls over Bryan Kohberger for traffic violation in December, so that you all know where you can take your screenshots.
No information available for suspect in the Idaho murders that same day.
Wow.
A Hancock County, Indiana.
I want to point something else out that we all want to take into evidence too. So see how BK's dad has his phone here, and it's very clearly on GPS. You can see the map.
Yeah.
You can see it plugged in. Now, a lot of people were saying this car was a base model that did not have GPS. That picture to me proves it, because
yeah,
why would he be using his phone GPS? I just, I think that kind of settles that score, that they're not going to be able to go into the metadata and figure out, like, in the Murdaugh trial, or I don't know if in the Murdaugh trial, but in the Murdaugh trial, one of the most fascinating things is they could give the most detailed timeline, because they were able to say when he drove down to the kennels, when he opened his door, when he stopped, how long he stopped, when he was sitting in his seat, if they sensed him, if his seatbelt was on. All those things were told as information. But also, Murdaugh was a high power attorney with a $60,000 to $100,000 car. BK's got a 2016 Elantra, and it just doesn't have the same capabilities. And yeah, so anyway, that was really important, because it shows that he doesn't have GPS. And Leslie says his knuckles look like he had a
bruise on it.
Yeah. And then Jeff says the dashboard of BK's car proves that he doesn't have infotainment package in his Elantra. Infotainment package includes GPS.
Yes.
And then sweet and salty says old cars turn white.
Old scars turn white.
Oh, sorry. Now this is an interesting one. Wasn't he a boxer? So yeah, I mean, those knuckles, sometimes they don't come back, but for the most part, they pop back up after the hand heals. In my humble, exposure to people who have been in fistfights. And then Jeff says, that's a shadow on his wrist, in my opinion. I'm usually the one leaning towards his guilt. Consider the angle of the sun. Okay.
That doesn't look like a shadow.
Red. Like a shadow to me either. But thank you, Jeff, for your opinion. Thank you. And it says take photo in Zoom. Okay, I'm going to try this. Like I said before, I'm not great on my new computer, so give me a second. Let me try this. It is Alt Shift S. I think. No. Alt Shift S. It's not letting me take a screenshot. I'll do it on my phone and then I'll yeah, we'll do it on my phone. Give me 1 second, you guys. And I'm just gonna take a photo of it. Let me just save it to one of my playlists here. This will only take 2 seconds. Playlist. For some reason, I'm on Harsh Realities channel.
Indiana State Police released body camera video showing them pulling.
Okay, guys, I got it.
That same day.
Let me screenshot it. And now I'm just cropping it so that we can look at it as large as possible. Okay, and so I just cropped it, and now I'm just going into my photos, and I'm emailing that to myself. Okay, send, and we'll do actual size. There we go. All right, let me get that photo up here for you guys, nice and cropped so you can see closer. Here we go. Let me take down that comment. Okay. I think if I zoom in any more, you guys, it's going to pixelate. So I'm going to stop there. But what's interesting about this zoom is that you can see the color very well. So unless this is an altered photo, we can compare the color to the color of the father's skin and face. You can see like there aren't a lot of variations, like pixelation isn't causing blotches and shadows and black and blues on his face. But then you look down at Bryan's hand and you can clearly see the part of yellow. I can clearly see a bruise. I can see it almost looks like this cut on the side of the wrist has a sutures on it, but it almost looks like the extent of the injury goes down the side of the hand. His hand looks like a club. And then Jeff says that's a total shadow on his wrist.
No, it's not. Yeah. Leslie says, Swamp Rose, look at the bruise.
Wait, hold on. I'm way up top. Hold on. Let me find Leslie. I see it. I see it clear as day. Like if I was looking at a photograph of a friend, I'd be like, oh my gosh, yeah, look at that injury. I see the bruise. I see the swelling. I can't unsee it either.
If you look on his left hand, he has a slight bruise on his left hand too. See over there?
I'm unable to completely make it out, but his hand does look swollen on the other side too. I see it for sure. Scar, major swelling in hand and knuckle, and it's red. They're forcing him to react in some way. Were they forcing him to react in some way? They could have been. That police tactics, you know, we learn all of them and then they come up with new ones. Wait, him receiving stitches reportedly? You've heard anything of that, Robert? Because I did hear something about urgent care, about Bryan going to some sort of urgent care.
I mean, I heard that. I think the stops were controlled so the FBI could could know if he had any injuries on his hands.
You know, I just thought of something, Robert. Remember how BK had that phone call and he was all cheery and he went to the doctor's office and it was after the murders? Have you heard that
Yeah,
story? Well,
yeah. I heard from a story from the WSU students that was under him because he was a teacher's assistant, and they all said after the murders he was all happy and whistling down the hall and all chipper and norm and I but before and I guess before the murders he was very very silent and everything else, and would grade harshly on the papers. And after the murders, he was like lightening up on his grading, and he was all happy and smiling. And as soon as the Idaho 4 murders were mentioned, he went silent like the grave. He would not even talk about it.
wow, that's so fascinating because, you know, this is the subject he's teaching. You would think he'd dive right into it. And it's that behavior. If I'm going to go about with what we read in books, I've heard people say after they've killed someone, it's like very calming and relaxing. And like, I'm not, it's so sick to think about, but oh my God, you know, the back to the clinic though, when they say he was chipper and everything, if he's going to the doctors, if they would probably document his body, I would think. And Eli had made this comment, so I just brought. Elliot had made this comment, so I just brought it up. Didn't he walk to the clinic just a few days after the incident happened, possibly for sutures? Even if he wasn't there for sutures, though, you would think the doctor's office would note if he had an injury on his arm. He couldn't keep his gloves on the whole time, you know. Let's see what else themed. And apparently he went for a physical and a haircut. Both places would have seen it, I would think.
Yeah.
Yes, I have. I have compared that many times, Sweet and Salty. And oh my gosh, this is another topic I would love to talk on. I'd love to know your thoughts on this. So do you know what Sweet and Salty is referencing? Robert, where she says the BK's voice to the female, the voice when the female cop pulls him over. Do you know what call she's referencing from T-Rev?
Yeah, I know. This one individual who sounds like Bryan was a constant caller at T-Revs.
This I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I apologize.
And the calls started coming in after the murders, and it started giving T-Rev a little creepy vibes. And then after the arrest of Bryan, T-Rev made the comment, "Oh my God, I think the person that killed those students was the one calling into my show."
Yeah, I would love. Actually, I'm gonna bring it up because I think that if you guys don't know the whole phone call, I really want to show it to you because it is pretty, it's pretty and fascinating. But I'll paraphrase it while I'm pulling it up. T-Rev phone call. So I used to be a huge fan of T-Rev. I still am. I just don't listen to him much anymore. I have other channels I watch for this. But basically, I was watching that night when T-Rev got the phone call. And essentially what happened was this guy called in and he goes, "Hey, people have to look into these Sigma Chi guys. When I used to work amongst these guys, and over again, they always were talking about if you wanted to kill someone, how would you get away with it?" And so this phone call went on and on. And I'm going to play it for you guys in a second. And basically the reason why we don't think that was Bryan. So T-Rev tried calling the guy back. He tried calling him back on his hotline and couldn't reach him. So there's these two psychologists that do like body language and stuff for true crime. And they claim that they took the info from T-Rev and they verified who it was. And they pulled up this guy who was essentially came onto their show completely drunk. And Jeff is saying that that Dave caller on T-Rev was debunked, and you're fully convinced. That's true, but that means we have to put our faith into another creator that they were smart enough and their team was diligent enough to prove this was him. He had to prove possession of the phone call. He had to prove possession of the phone number. I want to play the call so you all know what we're talking about. So I'm pulling it up. Hold on. T-Rev phone call.
Live tonight, though. We did not want to wait with what we have uncovered and figured out here at Hidden True Crime. And the basis of this is, most of you know, we even talked about it on our channel, the speculation that's been going on for 2 months that a podcaster named T-Rev received a call from somebody that, and then it circulated the web far and wide within the true crime community that this person was likely Bryan Kohberger. After Bryan Kohberger was arrested, friends of Bryan Kohberger came forward and said, this sounds like Bryan Kohberger. Voice analysis, you can find plenty of them all over, excuse me, the YouTube and the web. It's made national news, people wondering if indeed this could possibly be Bryan Kohberger that called into T-Rev's channel. Dr. John and I even discussed this, what it would mean if it was indeed Bryan Kohberger, and we weren't able to confirm it then the night we discussed it on Friday. We had to say, we are not sure, but we want to talk about this and what it means. And so we want you to know that we have actually, at Hidden True Crime, been working around the clock to try to confirm this in every possible way. We have been using resources. T-Rev has been willing and helpful as well with some information. We've included the Hidden True Crime team on this. We thought if we can find visual snow posts on the web, we can certainly put a rest to this question mark that everybody's had for a very long time. You know what I feel like right now, by the way? I don't know if you ever watched Maury Povich, John, but I feel like we're in the Maury show where they're doing like the DNA envelope and they've got it. They've got the results.
Right.
And
you feel like
you're about to open it.
You're about to announce somebody's baby daddy.
Yeah. I'm like kind of like, you know, just hanging on to this. We have the answer. We have the answer.
You have the manila envelope.
Yeah. Fiddle DD says that they are on the edge of their sheet. Excuse me, sheet. I just read someone else's in Australia. Forgive me. It's late. Yes, you are the father, Amy in Boston says. Okay. I will not state any further. We have the answer here at Hidden True Crime. I need an envelope to open. I don't have an envelope. The final answer is, it is not Bryan Kohberger. John and I have now talked to the gentleman that called into T-Rev's podcast in December. We've talked to him now a couple times. We've gotten to know him. I cannot tell you what we talked about in our conversations. John can confirm that we confirmed the information that he relayed. We've confirmed the voice. We've confirmed the phone number. We've confirmed a background check. So we won't.
You guys, I'm gonna.
It could have been Kohberger. So
yeah.
For 4 years, thought it was him. There were people on TikTok doing voice. Was insightful.
Julie Holden, Demo, ourselves. So we're gonna invite Demo on.
So after I play this, you guys, we're gonna look a little bit at Demo. You're gonna hear his voice, and then I will bring up the original phone call. I'm gonna look for it while you guys are getting familiar with Demo.
Right now.
Hello, Demo.
Hello.
This is
the big reveal. You are the caller that everybody's been speculating about for the last 2 months. Thanks for joining us.
Will the real Demo please stand up? Hello.
You can call me Mad Dog too. That's the other name I go by is Mad Dog.
That may not help your case, by the way, but okay. All right.
Well, I'm not defending myself for anything because
No, I know.
all I did was called a stupid YouTube thing. So that's it.
You have regrets? Do you have regrets calling in?
Absolutely. Never do that. Ever. Never call into anything. It's not good, especially
We had
on
to
the
do some
YouTube.
coercing to get you on here. We definitely had to do some convincing.
Absolutely. Sorry.
yeah.
I'm trying to get my camera right here.
Yeah.
You're good.
Well,
You're good. It's YouTube. Don't worry about it.
T-Rev in helping with this and saying, we appreciate T-Rev. T-Rev said, hey, look, I trust the Hidden True Crime team. He gave us some important information as well. And he said, look, I just want to know either way. I reached out to T-Rev tonight too to say, hey, do you want to jump on? We could have had like a whole reunion. What would that be? Like it's either a big class reunion here.
I don't want to talk to that guy.
Yeah, it's been a hard 2 months for you. And
well, it's not been hard. It's just like he's up to no good. So it's yeah, not into it.
Could you talk a little bit about that call? Could you talk about a little bit about your interest in calling in?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
So earlier in the day, I was watching stuff on my phone about the Moscow murders, and I came across T-Rev, and like he had people calling in, and he seemed like he was pretty cool, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool, great. And then I went about my day and did some stuff, and then later in the night, I was hanging out at my house and drinking some beers, and his channel came up again, and then it seemed like not much was going on, so I called in. And that was it. So basically the call that has people all up in arms was just a dude hanging out at his house having some beers going, I wonder if this is why this happened. That was it.
Okay, I'm going to pause there. And now that you've heard his voice, because I think that's a great place to actually, a good sampling of his voice, let's hear the T-Rev voice, and then we'll jump back and forth.
Welcome to our new video with lots of excitement. In the small town of Moscow.
Hey, what's up, Dave? You live?
Hey, what's up, man? Is this T-Rev?
Yes, sir. What's going on?
Not much, man. I found you today. I watched your live earlier this afternoon and been watching this one. And the thing that strikes me kind of weird about all this is that I live in a college town, and I've worked with probably at least 10 Sigma Chi members. And, you know, the one thing that every single one of them I feel like has asked me is, if you were going to kill somebody, how would you get away with it?
In a surprising twist, information surfaces that challenges the narrative. I debunked a crucial element of the case.
We even talked about it on our channel, the speculation that's been going on for 2 months that a podcaster named T-Rev received a call from somebody that, and then it circulated the web far and wide within the true crime community that this person was likely Bryan Kohberger. After Bryan Kohberger was arrested, friends of Bryan Kohberger came forward and said, this sounds like Bryan Kohberger. Voice analysis, you can find plenty of them all over, excuse me, the YouTube and the web. It's made national news, people wondering if indeed this could possibly be Bryan Kohberger that called into T-Rev's channel. Dr. John and I even discussed this, what it would mean if it was indeed Bryan Kohberger, and we weren't able to confirm it then the night we discussed it on Friday. We had to say, we are not sure, but we want to talk about this and what it means.
if you were going to kill somebody, how would you get away with it?
Hi, my name is Bryan. Would you be able to give me a haircut tomorrow by any chance?
Despite this attempt at debunking, the shadow of doubt still looms, with some people believing that the person on the show might indeed be the killer.
Within hours of Kohberger's arrest, a YouTube clip from a crime podcast emerged, immediately went viral, okay? The users of the podcast were saying, hey, this is Bryan Kohberger. I didn't believe it until we interviewed someone who knew Bryan Kohberger in high school. She heard the clip and said that is definitely his voice. Now, is she a certified expert? No, but it made me take another look. Take a listen for yourself.
One thing that every single one of them, I feel like has asked me is, if you were going to kill somebody, how would you get away with it?
Now, again, it's him talking about the murders as removed from them. The host of that podcast initially was unsure as well whether it was Bryan. Now believes it was likely him. He goes by T-Rev, so we'll call him that as well, and he joins us now. Thank you very much for coming with your splendid YOLO hat on. You only live once. Good choice. So, Bryan Kohberger, you believe he called into the podcast. Why?
I mean, with friends reaching out and saying, or people like her that spoke out that said that it's, you know, that's him 100%. I mean, without me hearing his voice, I'm like, you know, it's unconfirmed. But if you got friends that knew him and grew up with him saying it's confirmed, then I gotta say, hey, yeah, this is probably Bryan Kohberger. But, you know, I did send it into the FBI. I did clip that. I also went through 80,000 phone calls, found the number, sent it into the FBI as well, and they have that, and hopefully they get down to that information.
Good. Do you know that they are in receipt of it? Did they come back to you at all?
I know they have it. I've never got an email back yet.
All right. Well, good. You did what you're supposed to do. Now, what struck you about the kinds of comments that this man made to you on the podcast?
Oh, man. Why would 10 people come up and ask you how to get away with murder? I mean, make that make sense to me. Why would 10 human beings like ourselves come up and say, hey, how would I get away with murder? And that's nobody's going to do that. And realistically in life, who is coming up to me or you or anybody that is around us right now and asking us, hey, do you know how to get away with murder?
Bryan Kohberger, a seemingly ordinary man, now stands accused, sending shockwaves through Moscow. But as our narrative unfolds, we find the defense challenging a fundamental aspect: the precision of cell phone tracking in this sparsely populated area.
Police department, show yourself. We have a search warrant for the building. Police department, show yourself. You're good, dude. Go back inside. Yep. No lights. No lights. Flashlights? Flashlights.
Talbot, the bedroom door is locked. You want us to boot it?
Yeah. You need anything in your clipboard?
No, I'm good. Okay. He's got it. Thank you, guys.
Just the one locked door?
Yeah. And we didn't boot it because the keys actually worked. What?
Oh, sweet. Oh,
What am I looking at?
It's locked because there's only one on here.
That is the serving of the search warrant at Bryan's house.
It is? I've never seen this.
There are some, yeah. And we can turn them all on. Very sparse. Fancy computer.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, fuck. That I wasn't expecting. Mallory's going to be all over that.
Fancy.
So he was told he could do a triage here, and then once he packed it, he can't do anything until we get a warrant tonight before.
Correct.
So he can triage it while we're still here.
Cell phone tracking complexities. The defense argues that connecting a phone to a tower provides only a vague location, especially in a region where a single tower may cover vast expanses. They contend that obtaining a cell tower dump while seemingly incriminating, doesn't definitively place Bryan Kohberger at the scene of the crime. In this vast expanse, hundreds, if not thousands, may have pinged off that tower during the same time frame. Prosecution's counterargument. On the other side, the prosecution paints a different picture. They emphasize the significance of the phone's connection to specific towers before and after the murders. The abrupt cessation of signals during a crucial 2-hour window raises suspicion. Was Kohberger driving away from or towards the crime scene? The narrator delves into the intricacies, acknowledging the circumstantial nature of the evidence while underscoring its potential impact. Focus on the white Hyundai Elantra. As the plot thickens, attention shifts to a critical piece of the puzzle: the white Hyundai Elantra, allegedly linked to Bryan Kohberger. Surveillance footage becomes a linchpin, capturing the vehicle passing the King Road residence multiple times on the night of the murders.
Hello, I am Officer Langus. Stops being audio and video recorded. I think you know why I stopped you. You were in the red light.
What actually happened was I was stuck in the middle of the intersection.
Yeah,
so
I was
forced
behind
to
you the
take
whole
left.
time. Yeah.
Yeah.
So technically, you're not supposed to enter the intersection at all for that reason, because if the light turns red, then you're stuck in the intersection, and then you're on the red light. So.
You know, yeah, where I'm from Pennsylvania, we actually don't have like crosswalks.
Oh.
So even if you're kind of slightly, there's a little bit more leeway as well. Like there are a few lines. Like there's one white line and there's another one in front. Like there's like a certain margin from which you can actually kind of put your vehicle, place your vehicle.
Web of cell phone data and surveillance footage. A theory emerges that Bryan Kohberger might not have premeditated the crime, introducing an element of spontaneity or panic. The knife sheath left behind adds a layer of mystery, challenging the prosecution's portrayal of Kohberger as a meticulously organized perpetrator. Eyewitness testimony. The eyewitness
I'm going to pause there because the point of this was to get his voice. So let's go back to the voice comparison we heard. Let's hear him one more time right there. Right there.
There's like a certain margin from which you can actually kind of put your vehicle, place your vehicle.
Okay, pause there.
They were kind of they're kind of petty there. They're in Washington, like where I'm from. They don't pull you over if you're stuck in the middle of the intersection turning. The cops do it here all the damn time.
Yeah, I mean, you would think you'd have a little grace for somebody who clearly makes a mistake, but whatever. Yeah, good point. And I really think this comment is kind of hilarious. I start it. There will never be a show called CSI Idaho. So, little humor for you. Let's hear that voice one more time, just like
at least 10 Sigma Chi members. And you know, the one thing that every single one of them I feel like has asked me is, if you were going to kill somebody, how would you get away with it?
In a surprising twist, information surfaces that challenges the narrative. I debunk
today
of a crime that has etched a harrowing mark on the tight-knit community.
It was the frat
Hey, what's up,
asking
Dave?
him
You live?
if they were to
Hey,
commit a
what's up, man?
crime, how would they get away with it?
Yeah.
He like legit said the frat.
Yeah, I know. And he says not only frat, but he says Sigma Chi, the one fraternity that literally has, you know, a stone's throw from the girl's house. I don't know, you know, but it was public knowledge at that time too. Let's hear it from the beginning one more time.
Of a crime that has etched a harrowing mark on the tight-knit community.
Hey, what's up, Dave? You live?
Hey, what's up, man? Is this T-Rev?
Yes, sir. What's going on?
Not much, man. I found you today. I watched your live earlier this afternoon and been watching this one. And the thing that strikes me kind of weird about all this is that I live in a college town, and I've worked with probably at least 10 Sigma Chi members. And, you know, the one thing that every single one of them I feel like has asked me is, if you were going to kill somebody, how would you get away with it?
In a surprising twist, information surfaces that challenges the narrative. I debunked a crucial element of the case.
We even talked about it on our channel, the speculation that's been going on for 2 months that a podcaster named T-Rev received a call from somebody that, and then it circulated the web far and wide within the true crime community that this person was
I want to just
Bryan
stop
Kohberger.
because I've been meaning to get to this, but I haven't had a chance. While we're talking about this, Jeff had emailed me another picture of Brian's hand. So I'm just going to show this to you guys. Oh, whoops, that's not it. Hold on. All right, let me pull up that. What did I do? Here, I'll let that play while I'm pulling it up. Just give me another second here.
After Bryan Kohberger was arrested, friends of Bryan Kohberger came forward and said, this sounds like Bryan Kohberger. Voice analysis, you can find plenty of them all over, excuse me, the YouTube and the web. It's made national news. People wondering if indeed this could possibly be Bryan Kohberger that called into T-Rev's channel. Dr. John and I.
Okay, got it. So this is the other picture of BK's hand here. So
You can't really see it though.
I mean, what this does for me is it does kind of take away the red. But I know for a fact that I have, my skin isn't as nice as when the direct sunlight hits it. And then when the direct sunlight hits it, it takes away a lot of the flaws. I'm not suggesting that's what's going on here, but I know how powerful lighting is. So it could go either way for me. But what I see in several angles, in several frames, seems like an unmistakable scar. I don't know, Jeff, but we're going to get a side-by-side. Let's see. Let me get the other one.
And it looks like his sleeve is pulled down. Yeah, see how his sleeve is down right? Yeah. Hold on, go back.
Okay, hold on. There.
See how his sleeve is up right there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now go to the other picture.
Hold on. I'm trying to take this little comment down so it's not in our way. There we go. Okay. Brand.
His sleeve is up.
Yeah. You're right. His sleeve is definitely up.
See how it's pulled back right there, and you can see the scar.
Mm-hmm.
The next picture, his sleeve is pulled forward.
You guys, what do you think? Drop it in the chat. Drop a comment. Let Robert and I know what you think. We're doing this for you guys too. Okay, there's more. Well, let's go back up to the comments we have here. Does anyone know who Josco is? Josco?
No.
Somebody says they have a picture of Josco. I don't know what that. Oh yeah, somebody's asking if Jeff has that post. Well, I'm way, way, way too far down in the chat. Let me go back up. Jeff says, as a photographer for 30 years, I'm pretty convinced it was a shadow on BK's wrist. Well,
I don't think it was a shadow.
Did Dave go into detail about how he responded to so many requests for his description on how to kill someone? Actually, he did. he goes into pretty big detail. It's a 30-minute video. And then Jeff says Josco is another Dave-like situation. Was Josco the one that was talking about transgender stuff? Let us know. And then Leslie says it still looks bruised to me. Mike says he can't tell anything. Mike, and then the other Mike says, for one person to thrust a large knife into a person's body ×4, we are talking a couple of times. In my opinion, it was not just one person.
Like, what did Steve G mean by that one comment? he didn't have to go upstairs?
I have no idea. I have no idea. I have nothing other than maybe he just doesn't understand the senselessness if one person was targeted. I've thought from the beginning, Robert, there's something they're holding back, and this I have no basis at all for this, but I feel like somebody wrote something on the wall, whether it be the killer or one of the young people surviving for their last seconds of life. I feel some reason the cops knew the house was targeted. And I've heard of it before at crime scenes. So if I had to make a guess, something was written there that made them think that. But I don't know. I don't know why they went upstairs. I don't know what he meant. This case is so mysterious. Josco. I'm sorry. Go on.
I was watching an interview with Christy and Steve, and Christy's other two their other two daughters are always asking their mom, "It feels like you're making the house into a shrine," because Kaylee's bedroom is upstairs, is on the upstairs in their house, and Christy said she can't even go into the room, and she'll go in pop in long enough to get something, but she's told her other two daughters that they're not allowed to touch anything of Kaylee's. They're not allowed to wear any of Kaylee's clothes. Like one of the daughters kind of snuck in and grabbed a shirt of Kaylee's, and Christy told the daughter, "That's Kaylee's. You need to take it off. You need to put it back where you got it." And she was she said that it's not fair when she looks out. She sees all these like little kids playing and stuff, and she says to herself that they need to that don't they realize what has happened, that they need to understand what she's going through, and it's not fair that life goes on and Kaylee's not there.
Oh my gosh, it's so heartbreaking to hear. I don't even, it's hard to even know how to respond, Robert. I mean, as a grieving mother, I don't know if we could even imagine her pain. And I know a person whose son passed away, and I met them later in life, like a couple decades. It was at least 10 years after the son had passed away. And she brought me upstairs. It was their only child, and he passed away in a car accident. And I was helping her with some chores, and she brought me upstairs and she showed me his bedroom, and it was just the way it left it, the way it was when he left. He was all they had, and they just wanted to remember him. And they felt, I don't know if you've ever lost anyone in your life, but of course we all have. I don't know why I'm saying it like that, but like in my experiences, like when my mother died, I just wanted all of her stuff around me. I wanted to listen to her voicemails. But it was just the thought of letting go, the thought that if you let go of something, maybe you'll forget it. I don't know. It's hard to explain grief. That's my thoughts on that. So sorry to bring a downer into everything. I hope I didn't.
That's another one of my mods, Micah.
Micah, let me just see. Hi, Micah. Thanks for joining us. Hey,
Hey,
guys.
Micah, good morning.
Good morning. I was looking for that Josco phone call. I know Truth and Transparency did the original. I'm in the background looking for it because I want to show that Josco phone call, I believe is real. I don't know if it's Bryan. I don't know who it is, but I'm trying to find it right now. If anyone can help me with that, it's he said he was a family of law enforcement. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? I have the TikTok somewhere. Family of Jeff, if you can find it, that would be really helpful. I'm looking.
Well, Mike, we really don't know if there was any DNA under the nails. I mean, there clearly had to be DNA under the nails because when they took the girls out, they had like Xana's hands had bags over them. And I know. In the fight, her fingers were almost severed, and I don't know if maybe the bags were to keep her fingers on her hand, or there was possible DNA underneath the fingernails. Because from what I heard, when Kaylee and Maddie was took out, they had bags over their hands too.
I think that's really important to point out, Robert, because I honestly didn't know that until recently as well. Like I would say within the last month that they had actually bagged the hands. And I've heard it's really important because they don't always just look for DNA in those hands. Like say if he did have a ski mask on or whatever mask the unaliver was wearing, the fibers from that mask would also be evidence. And they also take the bags afterwards and they save the bags and they test those bags afterwards as well. Just a little addition to what you're saying.
Yeah, and Christy, in an interview, she was upset. They let them go to the storage locker to pick up the rest of Kaylee and some of Kaylee's stuff, and Christy was kind of upset because she made the comment, "My daughter doesn't even have a name to them. All she is bedroom number 2."
Oh gosh, that just
Yeah, because apparently they told her and Steve, whatever says bedroom number 2, that's your daughter's, that's Kaylee's. So just grab the boxes that say bedroom number 2. And Chrissy said, that's really disheartening to me, knowing that my daughter doesn't even have a name in this case. All she is bedroom number 2.
Oh, good grief. It's like, where's this? It's like there's a sensitivity chip missing in these. That is just unbelievable. I just, and also I heard Nancy Grace say something at the beginning before she kind of turned her opinion on this case, but she was very critical of law enforcement in the beginning of this case. And she goes, in every murder case I've ever seen, although they don't talk about it, there is always a handler that handles the family. And although they don't give them information on the case, they give them just enough to let them know there's progress. Of course, there's exceptions to all things, but how can you have 4 people that you mishandled, like all 4 of them? It does seem there's a sensitivity chip missing. But you can't even write Kaylee. You got to write bedroom number 2 on her stuff.
Well, see, they did the same thing to Maddie. Because Maddie was bedroom number 1, and Kaylee was bedroom number 2. Ethan, it was Xana was bedroom number 3, and Ethan, who was sharing a room with Xana, they put him down as bedroom number 4, even though he didn't live there. He was just staying the night there. So that they marked Kaylee as bedroom number 2, Maddie as bedroom number 1, Xana as bedroom number 3. Didn't use their names, just bedrooms number 1, 2, and 3, and told the families, "Oh, if you see bedroom number such and such, that's your loved ones." And I'm kind of wondering if Ben Mogan or Jeff Cronoldi, if they aren't pissed because their daughters didn't have a name, they were only bedroom number 1 or 1, 2, or 3.
It's heartbreaking. It's just heartbreaking to hear. All right, I'm gonna pull up YouTube. There's 2. So this video is in 2 places I've heard. Somebody said Lady Digging has a short of it on 126, but I can't find the Lady Digging channel. So I'm gonna go to Jeff H's channel because he says he has a short about. He says he has a short about Josco, because I do believe Josco is real, whether it's Kohberger or it is law enforcement. Here we go.
Apparently. The man then harmed her, and the reason the wounds were of such force, he was delivering it quickly and forcibly to quiet her, which...
Okay. They say it's on X. So let me get it on X for you guys. I've never logged into X.
Apparently.
Either, so
the man then harmed her, and the reason the wounds were of such force, he was delivering it quickly and forcibly to quiet her, which...
Okay, we're going to have more luck if I bring it to TikTok. Let's just stop it here. Pause. All right, we'll try one more thing on the Josco for right now. And what the live chat is saying is this is no longer on YouTube, guys, which is like everything. Whoops, I'm putting an H in there. IDAHO4. And we'll do TikTok. I don't see it, you guys. Oh, you guys aren't seeing what I'm seeing. Hold on, let me share it with you. All right, here we go. Let me show you what it says on TikTok here.
Which I apologize for how he was delivering it quickly and forcibly to quiet her. Which I apologize for how.
That wasn't a very long one. Oh, it's so sad. Okay, let me try
I know it's disturbing.
find a longer one. One that act. Okay, here we go. This one compares the cheekbones. So this is Josco, you guys. Interesting. Look at the ear. Look at that little lump right there. Look at that little. It does have similarities. You can see. All right, let's get some more. What else do we got?
These dudes that were in the fraternity.
Oh, this is what's this?
And so it makes me wonder if it's a thing that's in their like culture that they ask to see how smart you are and whatever.
Hey there, to those of you interested in hearing this report, I just want to let you know that I'm a relative of someone inside the investigation into the quadruple homicide in Idaho. I don't want to be any more specific than that because I don't want to put anybody in a challenging or contentious.
These dudes that were in the fraternity. And so it makes me wonder if it's a thing that's in their like culture that they ask to see how smart you are and whatever.
All right.
Hey there, to those of you interested.
They sound so similar to me. And Beth just told me the long version of Jocko. So hold on.
Oh, hey, Bubbly.
Oh, Bubbly's here. You guys, along with checking out Robert's channel, please check out Bubbly's channel. It does sound like Streak. Good one. Do you know who she's talking about? Robert, you know who Streak is?
No.
Let's get a clue. Okay, so let me pull. Okay, I've got that email from Jeff now. Oh, it's a. I guess I'm downloading it, guys. He sent me the file. Gosh, I hope it's really you, Jeff. Okay, I got it right here.
Hey there.
So how do I share my media player with you guys? Let me see what I do. Present. Share screen. Here we go.
Hey there, to those of you interested in hearing this report, I just want to let you know that I'm a relative of someone inside the investigation into the quadruple homicide in Idaho. I don't want to be any more specific than that because I don't want to put anybody in a challenging or contentious situation regarding their continued employment. And I will say what I'm about to tell you is secondhand, but it is from what I believe to be a very reliable source. Again, this can only be considered a rumor as I don't have firsthand knowledge. I never planned on posting any of this information out of respect for the victims' families. However, now that one of the victim's fathers has released some of the gruesome details himself, I'd like to share some of the investigative theory. As you know, the two women were found in the same bed, but with similar wounds. That's what's being reported. That's not exactly 100% true, at least in regard to the fact that they hadn't fallen to sleep in the same bed. One of the victim's wounds were deep gouges that were delivered with extremely aggressive force, so much so that the victim's liver and lungs were destroyed. Here's the theory that's happening. They definitely think it was a man because of the force of the wounds. The person must have been very strong. They think the man came into the room after doing what they did on the second floor. They went upstairs. The person cleanly and quietly unalived the first victim. The second victim awoke and tried to run. They believed that the man possibly grabbed her, and she screamed loudly, apparently. The man then harmed her, and the reason the wounds were of such force, he was delivering it quickly and forcibly to quiet her, which I apologize for how I know it's disturbing, but anyway, how do we know that she screamed? Because 3 individuals reported hearing a scream between 3:45 and 4 o'clock. That's why the police have such a specific time frame as to when the murders occurred. Because I don't know if you noticed, but the authorities weren't called the next day until late in the morning, yet they had a very specific time frame when the murder happened. They think the scream is why. And after reviewing video files from the neighborhood, they reviewed security cameras in the area, and they have an audio file I haven't heard it, but I was told that you could clearly hear a loud scream from a female. That scream was recorded at exactly 3:38 a.m. Neighbors say they didn't call the police because they said there's often loud noise coming from the house. I was told that there are parties there all the time. Again, I don't know if that's true, but it's what I was told. The weapon used was a long serrated-edged hunting knife with a fixed blade. The weapon had not been in the house. The person brought it with them and took it when they left. The 2 victims were on the same bed, not side by side. One victim was found on top of the other. The reason is that the one tried to escape and was grabbed, harmed, and then shoved and fell on top of her friend. That is why there's a lot of blood mixtures on this at the scene. They're also desperately looking for this white car. The reason being is that it was seen speeding by an A&W gas station. I don't even know what that is, but anyway, again, it could be wrong. I was told it was seen speeding by an A&W gas station / hangout at 3:45. Now, if the scream was recorded at 3:38 and the car sped by at 3:45, it's a very tight time frame, but it is possible that the person left immediately and rushed and was seen speeding by. Also, the scream may have been what caused the person to quickly leave. That scream could have been what saved the other 2 roommates' lives. The person knew that they might be detected, so they sped away. Again, this is all just rumor. Take it for what it is. I just pray for these young people. I hope they rest in peace and that they're.
Okay, so I know. Oops, hold on. I lost you guys. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so I actually have the video, which this goes beyond. So Bubbly, who has heard a lot of these videos too, has just as much exposure to this as Robert and I and Jeff. She says it's a cute voice, but it doesn't sound like him. Let's show the video.
Hey there, to those of you interested in hearing this report, I just want to let you know that I'm a relative of someone inside the investigation into the quadruple homicide in Idaho. I don't want to be any more specific than that because I don't want to I don't want to put anybody in a challenging or contentious situation regarding their continued employment. And I will say what I'm about to tell you is secondhand, but it is from what I believe to be a very reliable source. Again, this can only be considered a rumor as I don't have firsthand knowledge. I never planned on posting any of this information out of respect for the victims' families. However, now that one of the victims' fathers has released some of the gruesome details himself, I'd like to share some of the investigative theory. As you know, the two women were found in the same bed, but with similar wounds. That's what's being reported. That's not exactly 100% true, at least in regard to the fact that they hadn't fallen to sleep in the same bed. One of the victim's wounds were deep gouges that were delivered with extremely aggressive force, so much so that the victim's liver and lungs were destroyed. Here's the theory that's happening. They definitely think it was a man because of the force of the wounds. The person must have been very strong. They think the man came into the room after doing what they did on the second floor. They went upstairs. The person cleanly and quietly unalived the first victim. The second victim awoke and tried to run. They believe that the man possibly grabbed her, and she screamed loudly, apparently. The man then harmed her, and the reason the wounds were of such force, he was delivering it quickly and forcibly to quiet her, which I apologize for how, I know it's disturbing, but anyway, how do we know that she screamed? Because 3 individuals reported hearing a scream between 3:45 and 4 o'clock. That's why the police have such a specific time frame as to when the murders occurred, because I don't know if you noticed, but the authorities weren't called the next day until late in the morning, yet they had a very specific time frame when the murder happened. They think the scream is why. And after reviewing video files from the neighborhood, they reviewed security cameras in the area, and they have an audio file I haven't heard it, but I was told that you can clearly hear a loud scream from a female. That scream was recorded at exactly 3:38 a.m. Neighbors say they didn't call the police because they said there's often loud noise coming from the house. I was told that there are parties there all the time. Again, I don't know if that's true, but it's what I was told. The weapon used was a long serrated-edged hunting knife with a fixed blade. The weapon had not been in the house. The person brought it with them and took it when they left. The 2 victims were on the same bed, not side by side. One victim was found on top of the other. The reason is that the one tried to escape and was grabbed, harmed, and then shoved and fell on top of her friend. That is why there's a lot of blood mixtures at the scene. They're also desperately looking for this white car. The reason being is that it was seen speeding by an A&W gas station. I don't even know what that is, but anyway, again, it could be wrong. I was just told it was seen speeding by an A&W gas station / hangout at 3:45. Now, if the scream was recorded at 3:38 and the car sped by at 3:45, it's a very tight time frame, but it is possible that the person left immediately and rushed and was seen speeding by. Also, the scream may have been what caused the person to quickly leave. That scream could have been what saved the other 2 roommates' lives. The person knew that they might be detected, so they sped away. Again, this is all just rumor. Take it for what it is. I just pray for these young people. I hope they rest in peace and that their families can find peace after this horrible crime. And I hope that the person who committed it can be brought to justice. Thanks a lot.
Wait, the video you're watching right now is the one I downloaded from when Josco72 still had it up online. So this is what everyone's talking about. Thanks, Jeff. I have to say, kudos to you for having foresight to download something like that, because who would have thought it'd be taken down? You know what I mean? Like, things stay up to be debunked or talked about, but just canceling something and taking it down is weird, and it says creepy. So I think the audience is pretty split. You know, some people see the similarities, but a lot of people don't. And wait, Sweetie Pilo has a good collection of his videos. Very interesting. Let me just see if I can find Sweetie Pilo. Okay, I got Sweetie Pilo. Oh, I forgot about Sweetie Pilo's channel. She's got such a wonderful channel here. Video. Okay, so that might not be possible right now because you have to hunt through the videos for them. But it certainly warrants more. It certainly warrants a little bit more investigation. Robert, what really came across to me when I was listening to that phone call is the knowledge seemed inside knowledge, because she said the other one tried to get away, but they were both in the same bed and she was found slumped over her. And I don't think we actually had that confirmed until Steve confirmed that in the most recent interview.
Well, yes, Steve and Christy confirmed that that the bedroom was so small that basically Kaylee was trapped in that room. Now I've seen some like right around the time this murder first happened. I used to like go on Google all the time, and I would Google the address, and I would go. I would take like the virtual tour of the house inside, and that is a really, really small room. You have the bed, you have a wall, and then about 12 inches, you have another wall. And mind you, it's a twin size bed. So it goes wall, wall, wall. And the when you close the bedroom door, it scrapes at the foot of the bed.
You know what this is making me think of? Earlier, Robert, you were talking about the farmers and what the police thought would be the ideal jury. I don't know if you've ever used one of those virtual reality Oculus sets before or put them on. Have you ever tried that before?
Like once, yeah.
Yeah, I've only tried it once too. I spent some time with my nephew checking his out, and I just don't see. I mean, they're wonderful, but like once you start moving and you try to get your depth perception, like there is a disconnect between your mind and the actual depth perception. Yeah. Like I just don't see how you can get the feeling of the room or this feeling of the sound through an Oculus set. Not to dwell on the house destruction, but it blows my mind they even took it down.
Yeah. Well, just like Steve G said, hey Morgan, missed you on my channel, Morgan. Just like Steve G said, they're gonna want to look to see what that person saw from the back of the house looking in the window. And now they can't because the house is gone. It's not going to be the same in the Oculus or whatever freaking glasses that they have the jury use. It's not going to be the same. You're not going to be able to hear the creak of the floor or the draft in the house or the echoes or anything like that. And I just hope that the prosecution hasn't signed their own death warrant with the case.
Yeah.
By green lighting the house being torn down. And Scott Green has verified that they're going to be building affordable housing in that same spot.
Jeez, bro. The sensitivity is just not there anywhere.
Yeah, Scott Green made the statement in a video I watched that he's going to have the architecture students come up with some plans for some low income housing or affordable housing for the students on campus, right there on the spot of 1122 King Road.
Unbelievable. You know, when you were talking and saying that, I think you hit the nail right on the head. How's a jury going to put on an Oculus and go to the corner of Sigma Chi and see how that house has a clear shot into Maddie and Kaylee's windows, or right down the street where it's got another clear shot at the clearing? You can't recreate that in an Oculus.
Or behind the house, or behind the house.
Or behind the house, right? My writing on the wall theory, Elliot put a nice comment here. If he did write on the walls and gave himself away, that might be why they tore down the house, because it wouldn't have been too prejudicial. I think it's maybe a joke I didn't get. Sorry. Oh, yeah. Okay, Bubbly, we will. I wish, if he does watch these, though, I wish he would, chime in the chat, because it'd be interesting to have a conversation with Streak. Anyway, Stash House. Okay, so maybe I missed one more in the equation. We were talking about safe houses, drug houses, but there's also a stash house. Stash house, I think, is the same as a safe house. So, Robert, I just want to start by saying I'm really honored that you came up here today and joined me in the live chat. How it's so nice of you to give me some company, but also, like, you're a great creator, because you can jump in on these conversations and you know enough about the case to just be able to talk on all these things. And I just really appreciate your company today. I'm going to be wrapping up the live stream, but I just want to take a minute to plug your channel. If you want to say a couple things, I'm going to type your channel name in so the folks watching can go check you out. Is that handle? Could you tell me the handle to that channel real quick, please?
Yeah, it's it's www.youtube.com / True Crime Cult 162.
True Crime Cult 162. Let me put it up on the screen for the folks to see. Hold on. And there we go. So this is Robert's channel right here. Please check him out. You said you have a live stream coming up tomorrow night?
No, I have a live stream coming up Monday night, and we're going to have a pretty awesome panel that night. We're gonna have myself, possibly Rock Chalk, AR Hayes, and a couple other people, and we're going to be going over the. This is going to be part 2. We had part 1 last Thursday, and we're going to be going over the 1 year interview with Steve and Christy. And in part 1, we found some pretty interesting stuff in that interview. So we're going to be breaking down the part 2 of the interview. And it's going to be starting at 7 p.m. Central Time.
And the date would be, let's see, today's the 23rd. So you said that's Monday?
Yes.
The 26th, is that right?
Yep.
All right. So the 26th, 7 p.m. Central Time. And I'm going to be there because at least the Gonzalez are willing to go on record. So I want to hear everything that they have to say again. Every time I go back and listen to those interviews, I feel like I hear something new.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, just like that an interview I broke down here about a week ago, when Steve G made the comment that there's another level of data being collected in the case, and it's supposed to all be coming out at trial next year. So, is there like a completely separate investigation going on plus this investigation? We don't know. All I know is what Steve G said. Is there's another level of data being collected, to open up other investigations, and it's supposed to all come out next year at the trial.
Ooh, I want to hear more, and I want to hear. I want to hear what the whole panel has to say. AR2 and Rock. Rock is awesome, by the way. Is Rock are you and Rock friends or wife? And,
Yes, we live in the same town. Yes, we haven't met yet, but we live in the same town. We talk on the phone on the daily. She's supposed to be coming to my daughter's birthday party, which is the 2nd of next month. She's turning 9.
Well, it's a great age. It's going to be fun,
Yeah.
and I'm glad Rock seems like a real family woman. So
Yeah,
should
she
be fun.
wants my daughter wants everything Barbie for her birthday, and I told her, because her 5 cousins are coming over, and they're all boys. My brother has 5 boys, and they range from like 9 all the way down to 4. And I looked at her. I'm like, honey, your cousins aren't going to want to wear Barbie birthday hats. And she goes, Daddy, it's my birthday. I'm gonna make them.
Oh my gosh, I love that she's got her head on straight already.
Yeah,
Well,
we're
maybe
actually,
this can.
we're renting her like this gigantic bouncy house for her birthday, mind you, it had to be a castle bouncy house. And I'm like, can't we just get like an ordinary bouncy house? No, Daddy, no. It's going to be a castle bouncy house. I'm like, now how much is that going to cost, Daddy? She goes, Daddy, wouldn't you like to know?
Hey, you're only 9 once, and a bouncy house. I'm going to tell you something that gets the people going. You want the bouncy house. You just rent it once. My sister rented so many bouncy houses. She ended up buying one because there is an aftermarket for bouncy houses as well. So
Yeah, because I'm gonna be renting it for her birthday. It's gonna be for like one day. They're dropping it at the party's at 2. They're dropping it off at 1, and then they're picking it up at 6 o'clock in the evening. And she came to me later that night. She goes, Daddy, would you buy me a bouncy house? I'm like, yeah, honey, no. I'm like, we don't own the house we're living. We're renting it right now. And I'm like, maybe when we actually buy our own house, yeah, Daddy will get you your own bouncy house. I'm like, until then, you got to settle for the rental. And then she says to me, she goes, Daddy, I love you, but you suck, and walks off.
Oh boy. Well, this is what my reply to her is. You're a little old at 9 to be thinking about the permanent bouncy house. Maybe at 4 or 5, but the years of use on the bouncy house is going to be too long. So, I mean, like,
What? See, 10, 11, 12, 13. She'll be a teenager in 4 years.
she's not going to want the bouncy house. Yeah. She's not going to want that bouncy house when she's a teenager.
No.
But
No,
I think that's
she suffers from she's like 9 and she's only like 4'9". They said she might suffer from a rare form of dwarfism, because her pediatrician told us a couple of years ago that she's gonna be a very petite child, and I'm like, okay, like what do you mean? What do you mean by petite? And they said she will. They said she will not get any taller than 4'9".
Oh,
And
she's a
I'm like, huh? So she's 4'9" right now. She barely comes up to my waist, and they said that's about probably all the taller she's gonna get.
Now, is that just her height that it affects, or is she
Yes,
going to
it
have any
just
health problems from the rare form of dwarfism?
no. They said that she should be fine health wise, but she won't reach any height taller than 4'9", and any weight heavier than 78 pounds.
Well, I think that it's definitely tiny women are beautiful women, and it's probably a gift for her to always remain, a tiny petite woman, and
Yeah,
so we'll look
I
at it
always
as a
tell
gift as long as she has
yeah,
no
I
health
always
problems.
yeah, I always tell her, because I always tell her, I said, just remember this, sweetie. She goes, what, Daddy? I said, dynamite comes in small packages. And she looks at me, she goes, Daddy, I already know this. And I'm like, well, how do you know this? She goes, because I'm a firecracker, Daddy. And she walks away.
Oh my gosh, she sounds precious.
Yeah. She gets, when she was born, she looked like exactly like me. But right now, she has both both my looks and her mom's looks, but she has daddy's wit, and she also has daddy's. She also has. I don't get angry very often, yeah, because I don't believe taking anger out on anybody. But I can tell, by looking at her, that she has daddy's wit, daddy's sarcasticness, uh, and daddy's anger. Because when she gets mad, she gets mad.
Well, you're going to teach her to stand up for herself. Then I guess that you've
Yep.
already taught. I guess you've already taught her to stand up for herself. Then, because
Yep,
that
and
can be.
her uncle, he's Norse pagan, so he lives the Viking lifestyle, and he told her, he said when you get big enough, he goes oh, Uncle right here is going to teach you how to throw an axe. and she goes, okay, that sounds fun.
Of course. She probably can't pick it up though. I mean, she's only gonna be 78
No.
pounds. The damn axe. You have to get her little axes.
Yeah, no, she can't pick it up right now because he has one of those heavy. He has one of those heavy like war axe like the little short handled war axes that Vikings used to carry back in the day.
Mhm.
He carries one of those around when he goes to like the Ren Fair here and stuff. And he let her hold it one day. She grabbed a hold of it and it just like dropped. And she goes, I can't hold. She goes, I can't hold that. That's too heavy.
Oh my gosh. I love the moments where we get to share personal things about our life, and I just like getting to know you a little bit better. And I just hope you have fun at your daughter's birthday party. Thank you for sharing a little bit of yourself, Robert. That's really special. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah. I hope I'm gonna have fun. I'm grilling out that day. I'm grilling like I'm grilling like a whole entire rack of ribs and hot dogs and hamburgers and I like to grill. So whenever I grill ribs out, I grill like I buy one of those huge slabs of ribs and grill it out. And the only thing I'm not going to be happy about the day is paying for the damn bouncy house.
Oh my gosh.
But we have a special surprise for her. She's been wanting this for a while. She wants a Power Wheels ATV.
No way.
Yeah, and she told me she goes, Daddy, I want it in purple. I'm like okay. Well, back on Christmas, Walmart had one of those Power Wheels ATVs on rollback for like $98. I bought it for Christmas, put it up in the attic, and she's getting that for her birthday.
That's awesome. Oh, that's, we're all vicariously living through your daughter right now. When we were 9, I'm sure all of us wanted one of those. Maybe some of the guys didn't want the purple, but that's a great present. She's going to be thrilled. And I have a suggestion for the boy cousins at that party. You should tell them to dress up like Ken.
No, one of them, Corleone, told me last night on the phone. He goes, she's doing what? I'm like, it's gonna be an all Barbie birthday party, and he goes, he goes, I'm not wearing a hat, and I'm like, you gotta wear a hat, Corleone. It's her birthday, and he goes, can I just wear a Viking helmet?
That's precious. Oh my gosh. I can't wait to hear the conclusion. Well, I have to go. I just want you to know, thank you for your time. Thank you for everyone in the live chat. Robert and I are aware that you could be anywhere this afternoon, and we're grateful you spent some time with us and spent some time going over the case. And I actually learned a lot today.
I see my buddy AR in the chat.
Hold on, let me take my banner down so I can actually, the true crime banner down so I can display the chat here. Mike, Nikki Watts, AR, thank you for joining us. Oh, Bubbly Waters. It looks like Bubbly took off for the day.
AR, I will see you Monday evening at 7 p.m. my time.
Yep, AR, we're all looking forward to the part 2 of that talk. We were just talking about it, and yeah, you guys make sure to go check them out later, all of you.
Yeah.
And I want to say thank you to Robert's group who joined us in the live chat last minute. How nice of you guys to follow him over here and join me on my channel. Thank you.
Yeah. Now, I'll be dropping a video tomorrow. It's not going to be a live, but it's not going to be like totally IDAHO4 related. I'm going to be posting a video of the interview with Edmund Kemper from 91 when he's in prison. Edmund Kemper, if you don't know, he was a serial killer out of California. He was basically he was called the co-ed killer. And I found this video. I found this interview that he did back in 1991 from prison. I'm going to be posting that video on my channel sometime today or tomorrow. And then I also have a video which I'm going to be downloading again, and it talks about Charles Manson, Ted Bundy, and the Zodiac.
Get a little dose of the psychology of a criminal. That sounds fascinating. I can't wait to check that out. Thank you.
You're welcome. You have a good day, Miss Swamp Rose. And next time I catch you live, I'll probably, if it's okay with you, I'll probably join you up on panel again.
It'd be my honor. Thank you for your time, and thank you folks for your time. Have a blessed day. Take care.
You too.